5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I think a lot of guys, especially if you've been around a few decades, I think a lot of guys are going to relate to this next conversation. Jack Myers is on the phone. He has written a book called The Future of Men, and boy, he nails it with this book. Jack is an award-winning documentary film producer, a cultural, economics, and technology visionary. He's the founder of Women Advancing, a 7,500-member, all-women's dual mentoring support group. He's a researcher, and his book is called The Future of Men, Masculinity in the 21st Century. Jack Myers, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hi, Larry. It's great to be on the show.
And where are you calling from? Where are you?
New York City.
New York. Now, do you know the term metrosexual?
I do know the term metrosexual. Absolutely. You know, I'm not. That's not what the book is about, though. It's not about the metrosexual.
No, I know, but I think the reason I brought that up first is because so many guys I know that are, I guess, could be considered that, and I don't know that I'd be. I'm too old for any of that junk anyway. But I know that a young man, trying to make his way in New York City, because I'm from there, will often be categorized differently than the young guy, growing up in the fields of Indiana, right?
Well, no doubt about it. And what's happening around society, whether you're from Ocala, whether you're from New York, whether you're from California, there's really a major shift, a transformation taking place in society between kind of the 20th century expectations of what a real man is and the 21st century expectations. I think being a metrosexual fell somewhere in the middle of that transformation process. But we've got among young men today a crisis that is really not being recognized with the success and the rightful focus on the women's movement. We've been neglecting the implications for young men educationally, economically, and in relationships.
Yeah, very well said. So I guess that's what I'm trying to get at in a roundabout way, is that we are... like everything was so defined. And you know what's kind of weird? It's almost defined by the movies or by the media. The John Wayne, the Clint Eastwood, right? I mean, now you have Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp is just as masculine as well. Somebody's going to debate this. Johnny Depp is not as masculine as John Wayne, but why not? Why can't he be?
I think George Clooney is one of the few actors who kind of bridges that and fits into both of those categories. But we definitely have in television more than in films. We have these images of men that have become really destructive. Whether it's Homer Simpson as the most iconic TV dad of the last 20 years, or Peter Griffin of Family Guy, who really are a negative personification of a real man, of a man. And then you've got commercials, beer commercials where the men are objectifying women, or you've got the commercials where men don't know how to shop, don't know how to pick their own medicine, don't know how to diaper a baby or wipe up a spill.
Right.
So you've got these images of men, and for young boys who more than 40% of children are growing up in fatherless homes. They don't have role models, they don't have mentors, they don't have guides to help them really understand what it is to be a man today. And you've got these conflicting images between the John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and Arnold Schwarzenegger male image, a Terminator, versus the men what men are being asked to be today, and what many men young boys are growing up as, with in fatherless homes, with teachers who are primarily female. And they're growing up, and they are more vulnerable, more open emotionally, more sensitive, have more feminine qualities, but then they come into their adult years, and they're not being valued for the qualities that we've been asking them to have.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's because that woman chooses to have the baby without having a man in her life and things like that. Some women just go out there, they just want to have the baby, they don't want to be married, they don't want a relationship, but they want to have a child.
Well, it's by choice and not by choice, of course, but the reality is that whereas people used to get married in their early 20s, now they're getting married in their late 20s, early 30s. women are under 30 are now out earning men under 30, which is a statistic being lost in the pay equality movement. And the husbands are often choosing to stay at home or move into the part-time job because the wife is out earning him, and the man is not being recognized. He goes to a party, goes to an event with his wife, and the first question he asks is, "What do you do?" And he's embarrassed or made to feel like somehow he's diminished or less of a man because he's staying at home or not in the primary wage earner role. And women, because they are out earning the men, are choosing to stay in their jobs, and they're going to move up through the ranks.
Yeah. There's a show on TV called Hillbilly Hand Fishing. Have you ever heard of the show?
Wow, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, it was new to me too. But anyway, somebody pointed it out to me, so I looked at it on YouTube, and what the gist of it kind of talks. It applies to what we're talking about a little bit, and here's how. These guys, and it's a fun show to watch, so don't get me wrong, but it's like these guys who are, I think it's in Oklahoma or something, and they go into this muddy water and they catch catfish by hand. They don't put a fishing roller. They're in the water. They're literally underwater, putting their hand into caves that are normally occupied by beavers, and now the catfish are there. So what they do is they invite these city guys, you see, and city girls too, but it's the guys that get the brunt of this. Because the guys, let's say you have two guys from LA, okay, and they're kind of, they're nice looking, nice dressed guys, and that's where they grew up. They grew up in an urban LA area, so they go to this place to go into the woods into the muddy water with these hillbilly guys, and it's almost like we as the audience, we're supposed to laugh at them because they're freaked out by doing this, and
they're incompetent.
Yes,
somehow less than the man.
Right.
Yep, and it's the same thing when a boy is on the ball field and he makes a mistake and he cries, and we say big boys don't cry, and suddenly you learn to be unemotional, you learn to be closed up, you learn to bottle up your feelings, and men become emotionally unhealthy, and that has repercussions later in life in relationships. An amazing statistic on the relationships, 85% of all heterosexual relationships that end are ended by the woman. And I found that to be an amazing statistic, and looked more deeply into it, and women agree that their men are confused about intimacy, about what it is to sexually to be a man. They're told to hands off unless you're invited in. No is no. But then Cosmopolitan had a cover 2 months ago that said to women how to get the throw up against the wall passion you deserve. So there's these conflicting signals going on constantly in society. And women have 60 years of the women's movement, support groups, organizations. They help each other. And men have very few places where they can go and really talk about their feelings and be open. And that's really what I'm hoping for, is that we can really get a movement going where that's open, that engages men with each other and as well as with women, and where we can really work with younger men especially to help them overcome the economic issues they're confronting. And the fact that 60% of college grads today are female and only 40% male, we have an educational issue as well.
Yeah. Your book, we have to take a little break, but when we come back, I want you to talk about this a little bit. Your book made me think that while many of the things that have happened now this is American society, this is not necessarily the whole world, because I know men in other countries treat women way differently than we do. So,
well, clearly, yeah.
But I think in this country I think we're better off by some of the things we're talking about. But at the same time, if a man feels confused and a woman is looking at her TV, her favorite soap opera or something, and she sees, oh, Macho Man, that's what I want my husband to be. And with the whole society is saying, nah, you know what, you should be more like, I don't know who would be more like, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of a famous, like a character on TV or something.
Oh, Barney Fife.
No, you don't want to be like Barney Fife.
Okay. He's opposite of the macho-looking guy.
Yeah, you got a point there. All right, let's take a little break and we'll be right back. This is an interesting topic. Jack Myers, the author of The Future of Men. When we come back, this is WOCA Ocala.
Another 365 days go by. If you're looking to make a change in 2016, get involved in the health scene. Get rid of the old and try something new, like acupuncture at A Better You. Pain in your joints or knees? Throw out your back every time you sneeze? Then acupuncture is sure to please. From pain to allergies, even the flu, come get acupuncture at A Better You. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare today at 352-615-5566.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs. And all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
Brookdale Paddock Hills is having their annual senior fair.
This Saturday, March the 5th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And you're invited. Get a complimentary hearing test, sugar test, and blood pressure test.
Door prizes, giveaways, and more than a dozen specialty vendors.
Brookdale Paddock Hills is at 1601 Southeast 24th Road in Ocala.
352-622-9696. Brookdale Paddock Hills.
They enrich lives every day.
All right, 16 minutes after 11 o'clock. Jack Myers is on the phone up in New York. We're talking about his book, The Future of Men, Masculinity in the 21st Century. And I think, do you agree with me that we're basically talking about America, and I guess Australia and England will be included in on this?
Yeah, Scandinavian countries are ahead of us in a lot of advances. They have paternity leave as well as maternity leave as an embedded part. More women are on boards of companies, and those companies are doing quite well and much better than the male-dominated companies. But you were trying to come up with a TV character, and I thought, women are looking at, do they want the, Ed O'Neill, Jay Pritchett from Modern Family, and then you go back and he was Al Bundy. And Married with Children. So, but there are very few role models on television of real men, and especially young men, who are confronting the kinds of conflicts and challenges that they're facing in trying to figure out what is a real man, what is masculinity. We've been supporting and encouraging women to be strong, to have more masculine qualities in life and in business, be more focused on sports opportunities, and then we're really not doing the same for men in terms of helping them feel more appropriate going into the growth industries of the heal industries as opposed to the STEM categories, but the health, education, the administrative, the literacy. And what's happened is that those categories, those jobs require college educations. The men are undereducated, and the women are getting those jobs, and in those industries it's already 60 to 70% female dominated in the middle and junior management levels.
I'm really glad that you've written this book and you're talking about this topic, because during this political season, some of the candidates are saying that women aren't getting a fair deal, women are still living in the Stone Age, they're not getting paid for the amount of work, and I really have disagreed with that, and I'm glad that you're bringing this to the forefront.
Especially, there's still clearly an issue with, when you look at the pay equality and when you look at it across all age groups, all generations. But with the younger generation, it's really shifted. And it's important to note that men are dropping out of school. They're 50% more likely to fail math, science, and reading. They're going to college in much smaller numbers. There are 1 million fewer male college students today than female. Which is a dramatic shift, and the jobs are requiring college education, so they're not getting an economic fair shake. And politically, it's really an interesting dynamic that women will vote partisan issues. They'll vote pay equality, as you mentioned. They'll vote pro-choice, or they'll vote LGBT. They'll vote Supreme Court choices, and then they'll also vote jobs and economic opportunities and college loan relief. Men, young men especially, they care about job opportunities, and they care about a college education that they can afford, and college loans that they can pay back. And they'll overcome. This is the first generation in a long time, and maybe the only group in America today who will vote their economic issues over their partisan issues. And these young men are a political group that's being ignored and avoided, except by a couple candidates, and those candidates are Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders.
Both from New York, by the way. Where does this manifest itself the most? Does it manifest itself in the personal relationships, in the workplace, other places, maybe in society? And if I could just extend on my question a little bit, just to go back to the relationships, I always think that in the man and woman serious relationships, it all levels out, because you get to know, as a man, you get to know her better than maybe you did. She gets to know you better, and she understands you're going to cry sometimes. You understand she's going to be opinionated sometimes, and it really a healthy couple. I don't know that this manifests itself in the healthy couple, even if it does manifest itself in the rest of the world.
Well, of course, the word healthy is the key one there, and communication is always the key. And an open, honest communication. Look, as men who have, I'm not sure how old you are, Larry.
61.
But, you and I are fairly close in age. We grew up in an environment where boys are kind of taught it's okay to lie. It's okay not to be totally honest. You want to protect your partner. No harm, no foul. And there's the old deny mantra. That doesn't fly anymore. It doesn't fly with women, and young men don't even understand the concept of that because they've grown up in a different environment. But yet, when we are not openly honest in our relationships, then we're losing our intimacy. We're losing our ability to be intimate. We're putting walls up in relationships. So I think it does manifest in relationships where the communication is not completely honest and open, and where people are willing to take on in their relationships honesty where it may be harmful, and trust the other person in the relationship that that you're allowing your wife or your partner to make a decision about whether what you've done is appropriate or not appropriate in the relationship, instead of feeling you got to keep it bottled up inside. There's a lot of bottling up inside in our society, and we're teaching young men are conflicted between one hand being told to be openly, emotionally open and honest, and on the other hand saying, bottle it up, keep it inside. It's not safe to put it out there.
Well, in the feminist movement, in their defense, trying to level the playing field for women, sometimes they neglect to see the other side of the coin. And now that it's 2016, I think they really should see the other side of the coin a little bit better, since we've made so much progress in the direction that they wanted us to go. Have you had conversations with them? Are they giving you feedback on the book?
I'll tell you an amazing story. First of all, in doing the research for the book, the only way I could find the statistics about men were to research statistics about women and then flip them to understand the men. So no one's really looking at the male story. Feminists they really come out on two sides. On one side, they're happy to have a book. They're happy to be talking about the topic. The other side of that coin is, why are you writing a book about men? Women are still underpaid, underemployed, appreciated, undersatisfied in relationships. We really need to still talk about women. What's even more amazing is the response of men who when I say I'm writing a book about the future of men, 70-80% of the men respond, "You mean we have a future?"
Oh, thank goodness they are standing up for themselves, the men. Wow. Thank goodness.
Well, they're really feeling frustrated. They're feeling disengaged. They're feeling uninvolved, and it's important to exactly what you say. It's really important that we engage them, we get them involved in the conversation, and that women especially read the book to see what's going on with men. I think it'll give women a really deeper understanding of what their men are feeling, how they're feeling, and how they can appropriately respond to them. So I've been out talking to a lot of feminist group. I started a feminist group in 2011 in the media industry that's been incredibly successful, and the conversations are all about how can we help create better dads, better men, and better lives for ourselves by really understanding what's going on with the flip side of the feminist movement.
Most of what we've talked about is social, and you did bring up Cosmopolitan earlier, and Cosmopolitan will focus on sexual issues, bedroom issues. How has that changed? What does that look like for men in the future? Or, it's got to be different now.
Boy, boys who have been watching porn since they were really young, and that's their image of what sex is. If they grow up in a fatherless home, they don't have a mentor, a guide, or support. No one really tell them in a positive way the facts of life. They're not getting positive opportunities to learn about intimacy. So there's a conflict in the bedroom between what they see as
what they think is normal,
and what's appropriate. They don't understand intimacy because there's no one there to really teach it to them. And this is a danger. I think the pornography, the accessibility of strip clubs, and the ability to remove your intimacy from your relationship and think you're not hurting your partner or hurting your relationship is a dangerous reality we have in our society today.
And is our generation? I'm trying to think. I think our generation is worse at that than the younger guys. I think the younger guys, I don't know.
I agree with you. I completely agree. I think our generation is no harm, no foul. The younger generation growing up with gender equality and gender neutrality are much more open to a sensitive, open, honest relationship.
Yeah.
But they really need to understand what is a good lover at the same time, and they need that kind of opportunity to be exposed to positive lovemaking role models. And I'm not sure how that happened, frankly, but we need to start with the conversation first.
I think books show relationships way better than TV. Movies show relationships way better than TV for the most part. Mm-hmm. I
don't know. I grew up with the James Bond books. I'm not sure that was.
Oh, those books, yeah. Well, I mean the newer ones. Well, and what? Okay, and speaking of, Hugh Hefner, he did all of us guys a great disservice, didn't he?
Well, a disservice and a service, because growing up with Playboy, we also learned from the Playboy advisor. We got actually good, conversation and advice. But yeah, he objectified women and he airbrushed women and created this kind of perfect image of what a woman is supposed to be, and that's what advertisers like Unilever are trying to overcome with the Dove campaign and the Real Woman campaign. But we're re-identifying the real woman. At the same time, we have to re-identify the real man.
And that's your point. Well said. Thank you so much for being on the air with us, Jack. I have a copy of the book is called The Future of Men. Call me if you want the copy that Jack sent to us. Jack, do you have a website?
The best place is Amazon.com or FutureOfMen.com.
Okay, FutureOfMen.com. How's the weather in New York today?
A little snowy, cold.
Snowy?
We've had a pretty easy winter this year. No complaints. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't rather be in Florida.
Well, I'm jealous because I miss the snow. I'm going to go to my New York, what do I have, a Times Square cam. I go there.
Yes.
I go see the snow falling. Jack, thank you for what you're doing. I really think you're making a contribution. You're filling a gap. With this one. Absolutely, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I hope your listeners will buy the book, and please feel free to give me feedback at jm@jackmyers.com.
Okay, excellent. This has been recorded. You can view this and share this by 2 o'clock today. It should be up there. And I thank you, not for me, because I'm 61, but for my son, my nephews, any future grandsons I may have. I think it's going to make a difference. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. I'm happy to come back anytime.
Oh, excellent. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Candidates turning their attention to the next round of primaries. Donald Trump in Michigan.
You got to get out. I'm going to say it again later, but March 8th, Tuesday. No matter what's happening, no matter what you're doing, if you get laid off on Tuesday, I still want you voting. I'll get you a new job. Don't worry about it.
John Kasich.